Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, we're after the biggest fish caught in the British Isles on rod and line. Falconer's fetish. We're fitting out the birds with leatherwork. Don't shoot the reindeer. We're looking at the top Christmas stocking fillers for the loved one in your life. First, we've set ourselves the challenge of shooting Britain's biggest bag in Britain's shortest day. We're in the borders of Scotland after 10 species in just 5 hours. That's rook, crow, pigeon, mallard, grouse, pheasant, teal, partridge, rabbit, hare. The day has been arranged by James Wildboar Smith. An incredible name, but sadly, feral pig isn't one of the species we're after today. There are 7 guns in the party, and as soon as we get some light, we muster the troops. The weather on the other side of the country is horrendous, but incredibly we've got blue skies. Hopefully it will last. We're going to need all the luck we can get if we are to get anywhere near double figures.
Basically, this one's just driven snipe, so it should be up in the air, but sometimes you get ground game coming through. It's all fine, we're going for everything today, but you've got a line of guns and just do not swing through the line.
James gives us the safety talk and Richards tells us what we can expect from the first drive.
What I'm going to do is to land the guns along this fence and just round the end of the bog, and then I'm going to go around and the 2 beaters and myself are going to drive this rough ground through, and there should be some snipe in there.
The guns spread out and get ready, but because we're north of the border, there are a few things to remember. Right, we're 7 guns lined out. This is the snipe drive. I did mention snipe, didn't I? And this is Scotland. So you can use lead shot to shoot wildfowl, but you can't use lead shot over wetlands. Now in England, it's the other way around. You can't use lead shot to shoot wildfowl, but you can use lead shot over wetlands. So I've got lead shot, number 8 cartridges, and let's hope we get something. Miles out. We get some great action. The beaters and the dogs are working hard and lots of snipe get up over us. Okay, the drive's over and we've certainly got snipe. So that's 1 down and 9 to go. They really are difficult birds to shoot, but it's confession time. Well, that's 1 in the bag, but let's try not to count the cartridges, shall we? Oops. We leave the bog and head a few miles north. On this next drive, we're looking to bag a pheasant or 2 and maybe some partridge before a long, long walk across the moor with a host of species on offer. But not one of those. First, time for some introductions. And here's someone highly useful to invite on a day's shoot. Round 2, and it's pheasant in the background. A pheasant drive through a wood over there, and then grouse on the open moorland. Did I mention grouse? I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. Shooting Times vet, Harvey and Una Carruthers. Harvey's just brought out a book called The Gun Dog Veterinary Bible. It must be brilliant for shoot organisers to have you out here.
I really enjoy these days. There's so many dogs out there working, mostly spaniels, but there's the odd Labrador as well. And I saw a terrier on the last drive. I don't know what he was doing. He looked a bit lost, really.
And have you got a field hospital in your pocket just in case?
I do. I come fully equipped for every emergency. No, usually there's nothing much for you to do. It's a very mild day, so the dogs should be fine.
Grand. Okay, well, let's get on and shoot.
Great.
The pine trees do produce some birds. Nothing for Una, but she's still having a great day.
It was good fun. It was my first shoot of the season, so it was good to get the feeling back in your shoulder. But yeah, good fun. Looking forward to the rest of the day. Hopefully I'll improve. I might hit something.
It's been a successful drive, and for one of the party, it'll be remembered for the rest of her days. You never forget your first bird. Okay, first ever bird, and the world's press is here to see it. You must be delighted.
I'm very excited. Loved it.
What happened?
It was brilliant. It came out and it was quite safe shot. It kind of went that way and I took it.
Brilliant, perfect. And then
Tom was right there to make sure that I was doing all right.
fantastic.
Not going to kill anyone.
You must be very pleased.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Brilliant, well done.
Thank you.
As the beater and dogs look for a few missing birds, it's time for a breather before the next assault. End of drive 2, and we have got a pheasant and a partridge. That's 3 in the bag, 7 to go. Start of drive 3. It's like 2000 AD in Judge Dredd, the long walk. The walk offers plenty of opportunity, but chances are missed. The scenery is spectacular, and the RAF are enjoying it too. We cover a huge amount of ground, and even though we put the effort in, we don't get the rewards we hoped for. This was really our only chance for grouse. We put up covey after covey, and they showed us just why they are such a wonderful game bird. Too wonderful for us, however. Well, we covered a very great deal of ground there, and we saw 6 of our 10 species. Snipe we got, grouse, hare, rabbit, pigeon, partridge we didn't get. Things not looking good at the halfway mark. So let's leave the borders for a minute and go off and have a look at Britain's biggest rod-caught fish. 851-pound tunny. It was this big, madam. It's the 1930s, you're incredibly rich, and you've come to Scarborough for Britain's biggest fish. Where would you stay? The Grand Hotel. The record tunny, or bluefin tuna, was 851 pounds. Errol, Flynn, David Niven, Lord Rothschild, they were here to join the Tunny Club. They were the sportsmen. Let's go and meet the fishermen. Bill Pashby, pictured here, 4th from the left, was boat boy for a millionaire industrialist called H.E. Weatherly, pictured on the far left. Now in his 80s in the pub with Scarborough skipper and author Fred Normandale, Bill recalls the day this photo was taken, the single most successful day's tunny fishing ever recorded, when 4 fish were caught to 1 rod weighing 545 pounds, 589 pounds, 714 pounds and 743 pounds.
He caught 4 fish before breakfast, and this particular time I was aboard the big boat, and after the 4th fish I helped him out. You could see he was tired, and I said, "Mr. Weatherly, the fish are still around us." He looked up at me, he says, "Impetuous youth." Because our job when they were in the boat was to keep throwing herrings overboard to keep them round us. But he did catch 4 before breakfast.
Did you used to buy your herrings from the drifters?
Yes, we give him a crate of beer.
That's the way to do it. You've got your lord on the boat. It had to be a little boat, didn't it? That was the rules.
That was the rules.
Rowing boat.
Of the Tunny Club. Why was that?
That was the Tunny Club rules. Had to be caught in a small open boat, small
Because it was
boat.
more sporting.
Mm.
Yes, sports.
That was their thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they've got their herring with the hook thread over the side. A tunny takes it. What do they do next?
Well, let so much line out, and then they ease back. And then the guy on the oars is pulling like to put more weight on the fish.
That's you.
Yes, that was my job on the oars. And
you were 12 years old.
No, I was 15 then. Left school.
But 15 years old with a possible 800-pound fish pulling against you.
Yeah, that's what you had to do. Keep pulling. Till eventually, when it's going that fast, you had to lift the oars in, and you were really going.
And when you say that fast, I mean 3 knots. That sort of.
Yeah, you'd be doing about 4 or 5.
And then took it sleigh ride.
Yeah.
Ikey Price was another boat boy for a rival boat.
You'd see the tunny fish come to the surface. You could see them. I mean, there was some. I'm not talking. You didn't just see 3 or 4 fish. You maybe see 20 or 30 fish milling about.
And what were they? And they were after the herring that you were.
After the herring, yeah.
What sort of size were these fish?
What, the tunny fish?
Yeah.
Well, they're all the weights are on them there. 500 pounders, 600 pounders. We'd have him sat aft in the boat with his rod ready, and we'd have some herrings there. And when we saw the tunnies come to the surface, the hook would be baited and it would be paid away and one of the tunny would, we're open, one would come up and take the hook. And then it would tow us till it died, till we killed it. You made them drown themselves. You see, then it came to the surface and laid on the surface.
Tunny Club's centre of operations was off the Yorkshire fishing ports of Whitby, Scarborough and Bridlington. Stalker and big game hunter Peter Carr is well known to us as editor of Sporting Rifle magazine. He was brought up in Bridlington at the heart of the fishing industry. He takes us to Flamborough Head.
From 8 to 10 miles off to 50 miles was where the tunny was, depending on where the herring shoals were at the time. The herring drifters, the skippers would come down from Scotland and follow the herring shoals down, and they would report when the tunny were around the boat, they were actually picking up the fallen herrings that were dropping out of the drift nets. And then the sportsmen would come out from Scarborough and from Whitby, towing the rowing boats behind, and the gentry then, and later on, some famous film stars came in pursuit of the tunny.
The Tunny Club headquarters is now a fish and chip shop and a shrine for a tunny tourist such as me. I chat to the owner and a regular about the draw of this extraordinary fish.
This is well, if you were playing golf, this would be a 19th hole. Yeah. This is where they come in, settle down, talk about how they caught,
the one that got away.
One that got away, there was John Wayne, Errol Flynn, David Niven, Charles Lawton and his brother Thomas, because Thomas used to go, which Charles would go in one boat, he'd go in another. Baron Rothschild, and then you had money people of England that used to come up and have a go. They were going to take the fireplace out, and we asked for it to be left in because it gives your place character. You'd have lost your Tunny Club if you'd take the fireplace out.
So this is the fireplace that the Tunny Club has?
Yes.
Pete and his pal Ben Wolford take me out of Scarborough in a modern commercial fishing boat to try out the old-fashioned tackle. In the days of the Tunny Club, this would have been done at night with a skiff launched from the mothership, rowed by boys such as Bill and Ikey. Ben shows me how to set up the old rod, reel, line and bait, just as Bill and Ikey would have done for the great sportsmen and women of that golden age of fishing. Straight through the eye, through the stomach.
They're sometimes just a bit soft though, aren't the herrings?
Yeah.
That's it.
Will do. There goes the reel.
Good old Scarborough reel.
So what's so special about a Scarborough reel?
Well, not really, it's just what they had back then. Like nowadays, they have the multipliers, I don't know if you've seen them. Yeah. All cogs and all reductions on them. And they're just a simple way out.
That is an enormous reel, isn't it?
This, yeah. I mean, you get bigger ones than that. You get some real big ones. As the boat drifts, you just let line away, steady away. I ain't seen tunny, no, but it's got to be some, though, haven't they? I don't know.
Of course we don't get a tunny, and to add to the insult, the seagulls take our bait. Well, we're here at the Scarborough Museum Trust at Wood End, and my lovely assistant here is going to tell us from the basement of the museum exactly what he's holding. Peter, you took us out yesterday in the boat. What have you got in your hand here?
Well, this is actually an original tunny rod, boat rod, with the roller at the end, the Scarborough reel, with spun hemp twine, all original, and the original harness, which was actually worn by Mitchell Henry, who's in the tunny record book.
It looks like it weighs an absolute ton. Is that to hold it all together?
Yeah, you would actually be sat on the thoft, which is the nautical term for a flat seat on a skiff or a rowing boat, and there would be a hole for putting in the butt of the rod, and the harness would just take the weight off the fish, as the actual tunny would be towing the skiff or the rowing boat.
Towing the skiff?
Yeah, it would, yeah.
For half an hour at a time we learned, didn't we?
Yeah, half an hour up to an hour, yeah.
Now, we can't ignore the fact that in the background there is a very large fish.
is this the sort of thing they were after? That's exactly what they were after, and this one was £852. There's a £1 in it, but it's the recognised record, I believe, is £851.
Put that many powerful men and women in a room no bigger than a fish and chip shop, and you're going to get arguments. In 1949, John Headley Lewis caught the £852 fish, whose cast is in the Scarborough Museum. Lorenzo Mitchell Henry, whose £851-pounder from 1933 was the record holder, successfully contested Headley Lewis's claim with Tunny Club officials. He maintained that the rope Headley Lewis used to string up his fish was wet, so adding more than a pound to its weight. Others have since pointed out that Mitchell Henry's rope was thicker, so surely that should have made a difference.
And we've got a lovely rod box here, and that was, who was that? R.T. Lawton, who's that? That's a local hotelier, which is Charles Lawton's brother, the actor, famous actor from Scarborough. And R.T. had hotels around here, and his brother was off swanning around Hollywood and bringing in good customers, I guess. That's right. Good. 2 bites at the apple. And I've got an extremely nasty looking instrument here. What would I be using this for? That's actually the boat gaff. So when the tunny was brought alongside dead, they would gaff through here. Through where? Actually on the tunny, under here. Under there? Yeah. And this would actually come up inside of the actual fish's mouth. Yeah. And that gives you a good purchase to keep it alongside while they can get the strop around the tail, pull the strop tight. That's a piece of leather around here? That's right. And block and tackle. And you pull the whole thing out? That's right, yeah. Is it still wriggling at this stage? No, it's dead. You've killed it? Yeah, right. It's dead, definitely dead. And you've got it on board, and you've got an awful lot of fish by the look of it. There's a lot of tins of tuna there.
Will the glory days of the Tunny Club ever come back?
No, because I don't think part of it is...
Your health and safety would come into it, I'm sure.
Health and safety would come into it.
They would certainly wouldn't allow a little rowing boat, I don't think, out there.
I think health and safety would come into it, but there again, I don't think there's the characters like there was in them days.
Do you think those days will ever come back?
No.
Why not?
Wiped out.
Never.
Like the dinosaur, gone.
The Tunny Club began in the 1930s. By the 1950s, it was all over. After decades of few tunny sightings, sport fishermen in Donegal are now reporting big fish again. In 2001, 2 boats met 15 bluefin tuna, and a new Irish and European record was set by Adrian Malloy, fishing with skipper Michael Callaghan, who caught this amazing fish of 968 pounds. The World Wildlife Fund has highlighted the plight of bluefin tuna stocks. Most of these sport fishermen are now on catch and release and providing vital data on tunny sightings. With bluefin now one of the most valuable fish in the world, unfortunately the commercial fishermen are not on catch and release. From big money tunny to leathers for feathers, our falconer Roy Lupton is making hoods and jesses for his goshawks.
It's time to revisit our young goshawks. They're now a couple of months old and ready for Roy to tailor them some nice leather work. First, he cuts out the jesses for his 2 females.
The young goshawks are ready to jess up and start their training, getting put on bow perches. So we're just making the equipment for them. So I'm just making up some jesses, and then we're going to make up in a moment a set of almarai, which are the leather work that attaches to the bird's legs, which enables us to keep control of the birds when we're training them, and enables us to tie them down to their perches.
We go to the aviary to measure them up for the almarai. One is very well mannered, the other is a bit of a handful, even though they've been reared in exactly the same way.
This one has got fantastic, perfect manners, and this one is a little monster, aren't you? Yes, you're a little monster. You're a little monster. You can see the way she's mantling there and the way she's reacting. Yeah, she's getting all stroppy. I mean, obviously she's hungry, she wants her breakfast, but yeah, she's being a little beast, aren't she?
Roy marks the birds up so he can get the fit just right.
So it's tight.
He can now get to work.
No, so what we've got what we're going to do here is we've obviously been out and measured the leather up on the girls. So now we're just going to position the eyelets in exactly the right place. So it fits onto the girls' legs, you know, not too, I mean, it's got to be snug, but obviously not too snugly because you don't want it, you know, interfering with their legs. So we just make the mark, push that down, and give it a damn good beating with a hammer.
Many falconers make their own kit, and as Roy says, if it fails, he's only got himself to blame.
It's not hurting her at all, she's just being a little bit noisy, aren't you, darling? And then Jessie's on, and then she's ready for coming up onto the fist. Come on then, darling.
We'll be catching up with the goshawks development in the next few weeks. We'll also be seeing Roy getting his eagles into shape for their winter expeditions to Scotland.
You can see more of Roy's goshawks on our Your Sport pages. Go to our website www.fieldsportschannel.tv and click on the big green button on the left. It's our archive of films. Now, Christmas is coming and I've got to ask, who loves you, baby?
Whoever it is, get them in the room to look at some top angling present ideas for both coarse and game anglers. We start at one of the most popular outlets in the southeast, the Tackle Box in Dartford.
Our main philosophy has always been, if you haven't got it, you can't sell it. So what you see in our yearly catalogue really is in stock. If it isn't, it's because the suppliers let us down. Fill your shop full of stock, then you never have to say no to a customer. And if it's the right stock, they're happy.
Today, Lee Jackson, author of the Carp Clinic, the ultimate guide to carp fishing, is giving us his top tips for prezzies this year. So let's start with the stocking fillers.
Well, it's that time of year again, isn't it, really? Well, there's loads of things. I mean, no Christmas would be complete without a pair of socks, really. And here you've got a nice pair of four-season socks to keep the old tootsies warm this winter. If the weather's too cold to sort of go out fishing, then you've got a variety of DVDs to watch. There's new ones here, as you can see, the Sunshine in Thailand, there's a Corda Carpers collection, or Carp Above and Below. If you do venture out and you'd like to listen to the radio, then we've got this natty little wind-up radio. All these items are under £20, so it's quite a good value. If you want to book all your dates for next year and everything, there's your calendar. It's got moon phases and everything, so you can work out the best fishing days. You've got little bits and pieces to hang on the Christmas tree, little packets of hooks and things like that, hook link materials and such like. This is a real useful tool. It's like a grinding tool from Corda, and you can put all sorts of bait material in there, crush it up and mix it in with ground bait or whatever. I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, this one, but it's got absolutely everything in it. Got knife, forks and spoons, towels, plates, mugs and little containers for sugar and tea bags and everything else. I mean, it really is a good choice.
You get hungry out there, don't you?
We do get hungry, yeah. We do get hungry out on the bank, so there's, you know, we've got to make sure we've got plenty of food around.
Now, let's push the boat out. What about something for under the tree?
Well, you're going to need a fairly big tree to have this lot. Well, there you go. Nice pair of thermal boots. I mean, there's nothing worse than cold feet in the winter, and both of these boots will keep your feet warm, whatever the weather. And then we got, if you're really adventurous, you've got a real smart cooking set here. You can barbecue. You can use a normal camping stove. You can put a jacket potato on there and put that right, and it's like having a little oven. And if you do manage to catch that fish of a lifetime, there's a real dinky pair of digital scales there. £90 worth, but real good quality scales. Nice carping etched Zippo lighter. Work in all weathers, providing you put petrol in it, that is. And what can be better than a book? You've got the new one there from Ali Amidi, reasonably right, all about tactics and, you know, to fool any carp swimming. A new one from Rob Malin, One Last Carp. You've got The Keeper, which is ever such a good storybook by Keith Jenkins, and one here by yours truly. And if you're lucky, if you pop into the shop, I'll even sign a copy for you.
And finally, what would be a suitable gift for the angler that has everything?
Well, it's hardly really the weather for sunglasses, but if anyone who knows me knows I've got a bit of a sunglasses fetish. I'm always looking for a pair that are a little bit better than the rest, and these ones really are the dog's Watsits. They've got little sort of side shields to keep the sun out the side. And here's an article. This thing's around about £350. I mean, the reason I've not put it on is because it's going to blind you all. But this really is the ultimate head torch. And then of course we got super duper new special edition camouflage Shimano reels. I mean, they really are. I mean, not only is this one of the best size reels for carp fishing, they now do it in camo. Or for the tackle tarts out there, there's even gold plated setups. I mean, there's a complete setup for one rod works out something like £110. So ladies, it's a good expensive present for your other half. And I'm sure they appreciate that.
If you find yourself in the West End of London, the tackle shop of choice is, of course, Farlow's of Pall Mall. Your ancestors could have been shopping at Farlow's as long ago as 1840 when it opened. Tonight, in an event sponsored by the Countryside Alliance and Miller Collection Hotels from Hampshire and Berkshire, eager shoppers have gathered for retail therapy, accompanied by a free glass of bubbly.
Well, we have a fantastic, great selection of fly kits that we can probably offer to your wife. We've got a lovely fly boxes. We can just fill it up with a lot of different flies.
What are the kind of Rolls-Royce reels?
Well, we have the T-Bull reels made by Ted Jurassic, all in the United States, all made by hand. It's a full process, which they come and retail around from about $560 to about £800. So they are the Rolls-Royce or fly fishing reel, really.
Why have you come here this evening? You can't just have members in mind.
No, on this occasion I think there's sort of a bit of self-interest in play as well. I've been determined, I've had this fly box for a depressingly long period of 35 years ago this was given to me, and it's just falling apart, and I thought it was a brilliant opportunity to come and refill it and to mend it and give it the sort of loving care that it deserves.
A quick MOT, what's wrong with it?
Well, whatever was here has fallen out, and I think I've lost quite a lot of the flies in here as well, so it needs a bit of refurbishment. So also, it's the only time I've ever been to Farlow's and bought something for less than about 300 quid. So I bought the cheapest thing they had in the shop at £2.50. The awful thing about this shop is I can come here and I can want one tube of sort of wader repair kit, and I will come out with 2 new salmon rods and a pair of waders. I'm fully admit to being completely weak when I come in here. But if you restricted me to one thing, I've got my eye on a very nice Hardy rod, which I know I can't afford, but I might try and find somewhere smuggling out the building later on tonight.
Is it a smuggler rod? Is it one of those?
Yeah, that's what they told me. Yeah, so and the trouble is I don't want to do what everybody does, which is you know, have a look at it here, get the feel of it, and then go and buy it online from somewhere else. If I buy it anywhere, it will be in here.
What? I'm at the glorious West London Shooting School with Alan Rose, the heir to the Percy Stanbury method of teaching. Yeah. Now, Alan, we've got a walked up setup here, but
yes,
not easy to replicate in a clay ground, is it?
Not quite, not quite. You could have here a little bit more room, yeah, but like I said, it's just going straight away, but normally you want to be out there and a little bit and open so you get a variation, you know, but this is, yeah, it's okay for good gun mounting and that, and teaching people about shooting. Then on walked up birds, a lot of time you've got dogs in front of you, so you've got to wait for that bird to get up before you can actually shoot the bird, otherwise you shoot the dogs. Yes, simple as that.
So it's quite an involved process.
Oh, yes,
it's not just going bang.
No. Like I said, you'll have 3 or 4 people in line, you might have 10 people in line walking, but if you just got 2 of you on pointers or labs, they put the birds up, you've got to let the bird go away before you shoot the bird. You can't pick it up here because you've got the dogs there in front of you. Yeah. And they're most important, the dogs.
They are most important.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to stick my air protection in, let you take the stand, and we'll get underway.
Yeah, certainly. Okay.
All right. Right, Alan. This has got to be an easy bird, hasn't it?
Not always, no.
But it's going straight away?
Well, it's not quite straight away. This is slightly right to left, but it's one of the worst birds. You've got to pick it up properly and shoot it. A lot of people just go and poke at them. But a going-away bird is still like a driven bird. You've got to pick the line up, look for the bird's beak or its head,
or left-hand wing or right-hand wing, whichever way it's going. If it was dead straight away, yes, it's a little bit easier, but a bird like that is crossing or quartering you, so it's a little bit different. Yeah.
Without pulling the trigger, can you just show me what the mistake people make when they close up the gun?
Yeah, one of the worst mistakes is, again, what we've been into it before. It's when the bird gets away, it's putting the gun up too soon.
And that's bad for the dogs as well, isn't
Well,
it?
exactly, because if the gun goes off, yeah, they won't be able to put any more up. It's always the same. It's even wherever you're walking, it's when you move, you've got to put that gun to your eyesight or the bird, and that goes with your eyesight, rather than putting the gun up, down, and then back up again, like that. Yep.
Not much movement in what you're doing there.
No, not much movement at all. If you're doing too much movement, the bird's getting away from you. But if you're walking up grouse and that, they'll be halfway across the moor, you know. Yep.
And tell me about the kind of shooting you do in this area. Tell me about the sort of day, a walked up day you might do.
Walked up day, well, pheasants or partridges. Partridges again will be on rough ground, so yeah, you've still got to look out for the dogs. But again, a lot of times you may not have dogs, but then you just got beaters. But there's not many people that do an awful lot of walking up. But yes, when you do, you still got to watch your neighbours. You can't come round and shoot down the line because you still got your walked up people walking up with you. Yes, or you can still shoot behind you, but you've got to wait for that bird to come up. So you turn, line of guns are there, so you're still beyond the line of guns to shoot them. Yes. Yep.
Perfect. Right, would you like to load up and
Yes.
show us a well taken walked up bird?
Well.
Yeah, when you're ready.
Okay, but I mean, basically, if you're walking up like that. Even if you're on the wrong foot, you come onto your left foot, so that goes with the muzzle. Okay. Okay. Go on then. Okay. That's a bit too. Yes. Okay, missed him. 9 times out of 10, you know, when a bird gets up, it's getting up from 0 mile an hour. A clay target is coming out 50, 60 mile an hour straight away. So it's harder to shoot a clay in that sense than a real bird. You've got a little bit more time with a real bird. Especially when a covey gets up, you get 4, 5, a dozen birds get up. So you've got a choice, you've got to pick out the right one as well. Yes.
Now the gun is open. Show us a little bit of the kung fu involved in the walk up day.
Not quite come through, but yeah, basically when you're walking up, you've got the dogs there, but what you've got to do is wait for the dog to put the birds up. So as you're walking, it's as the bird gets up, even if you're on the wrong foot, you've got to just step round to your eyesight and the bird, so you take that muzzle into it. Again, you don't just go bang at the bird, you've still got to pick that line up so you go with the bird. You can either shoot its right hand wing off or left hand wing, whichever way it's going.
Now if one gets up over by that bit of willow over there.
Yeah, but that's not a walked up bird, yes.
But if
it does, off the ground there, all depends who's there. But yes, if it comes up across there, then it's the same thing.
And what mistake do people make with that?
It just goes straight to it, not swinging. Even a gun away bird, it's still got what I call a imaginary smoke trail coming out of its bum. You've got to put that gun on that smoke trail to go with it, to drive at the bird. Yep.
We're back and things are looking up. It's lunchtime and we have, well, on the face of it, 5 species in the bag: a hare, snipe, woodcock, pheasant and partridge. But then a really lucky break because, well, the old alliance you'd expect to find a Frenchman in Scotland, but we have a foreigner here too, an English partridge. So that's 6 species, just 4 to go.
Lunch is welcome. Soup and sandwiches to refuel. It's also a chance to find out from gun dog specialist Harvey what sort of attention our dogs should be getting when they take a breather too.
So Harvey, this is Waggle the Labrador, who actually starred in your Gun Dog Veterinary Bible, didn't she? Now we're part of the way through a shoot day. If you're a gun dog owner and you want to do a quick MOT on your dog, as a vet, how would you set about it?
Yeah, the problem is that, well, Waggle isn't that dirty, but often they're really dirty and wet, and it's really difficult to see anything wrong with them at all. So what I do is I just give them a quick once over, make sure there's no obvious wounds, that they're not lame. Waggle's bright and full of beans, but actually often dogs are quite quiet after a hard day, so She's gone off.
There's a rule about not working with
no, don't work with dogs.
Waggles.
Don't work with waggles. Don't work with lab dogs. So often dogs can be quite quiet or withdrawn if their blood sugar is a bit low.
Yeah.
So I often keep a snack in my pocket just to give the dog halfway through the day. Often people give a bit of Mars bar, give the dog half, I'll have half.
Do people say chocolate is poison for dogs though?
They do. The problem is that it's just so convenient to give a little bit of something, a bit of chocolate. It won't do any harm, but if they eat a lot of chocolate, it can cause some serious problems.
As with people.
Yeah,
just look at them.
absolutely.
Terrible. And are you a fan of, at the end of the day, are you a fan of toweling off a dog, or do you leave them to lick themselves dry?
Yeah, I do tend to. I think it's much better to have a good look at the dog, check it over.
Sorry, this is about drying your dog. Are you a fan of toweling your dog off, or do you let them lick themselves dry?
No, I towel them off.
You're a toweler.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a toweler. Committed toweler.
and we're on a beautiful rough day on lovely open hillside. What's your perfect breed, Waggles accepted, for hello Waggles, for a day like today?
A cocker. Give me a cocker every time.
I've already got one. You are so nice, Harvey. Thank you.
Where is your cocker?
Oh, such a shame. Good, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
With everyone fit and healthy, we strike out to the next drive. Sadly, it's disappointing, and suddenly, with the shadows lengthening, we start to worry about our bag. Having seen so many species being missed, the last 4 are proving the hardest to find. Then Richard appears with a pigeon, taking us to 7 and in sight of our target. On to the next drive. It's busy and there's plenty of action for all the guns around the wood. It produces quite a few pheasant, but we have pheasant. Well, we've had about half a dozen drives now. The sun's beginning to get a little bit low in the sky and we're up to 7. And these sorts of drives, these woodland drives, they're just really showing pheasant and partridge, which we already got. So we're holding out for duck of various species and corvids of various species. Let's hope. We need some local knowledge to help us out. It's getting pretty dark. We've only got our 7 species in the bag. This is the last drive of the day. The good news is it's a duck pond. We get into position behind the stone wall and within minutes the ducks start coming in. It's full of action and we couldn't have asked for a better end to the day.
Well, there's one dropped over again that wall.
There's one there,
I've
one
picked
there.
one now, there's one.
It's been an exhilarating day, but the sun is now leaving, so what is our final tally?
Officially 8, bang on 8, and a total of 31, which is very good for a day like today. We missed out on a rabbit, which we should have had 9. So well done, and a grouse would have made it 10. Well done all the same. Good stuff for the conditions.
So, a respectable bag and a chance to celebrate with a few drinks. There aren't many places in the country that will offer such variety of game within a few miles. What an exhausting but very satisfying day. 8 out of 10 in the bag. Not bad. A total bag of 31. Pretty pleased, and we're definitely coming back to the Borthwick estate here in Gordon next year. Now, next week's Shooting Politics includes a real live GB shooting team hopeful on the panel. This programme is back in 2 weeks' time when we'll be looking at British bow hunters. It's illegal over here, but it's becoming more and more popular overseas. This has been Fieldsports Britain. Our Santa, he ain't in red, he wears real tree.